Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building here in the world of Strangerville for my save file, and this time I am building a city hall. So originally there was a library on this lot, and I definitely thought that it would work much better as sort of a city hall type build. I mean, we don't have that as a lot type in the game, so it is still a library, but I did want it to appear kind of like a city hall. So I looked at pictures on Pinterest of Western style city halls, and this is what I came up with. I hope you guys will like it. I was kind of unsure about it as I was building it. It kind of, I don't know, the exterior is very boxy, it's very symmetrical, so I think that's the reason I was kind of having a problem with it, but I decided to continue, and I really do end up liking it in the end, especially the interior I think is really nice, so hopefully you guys will like it too, but of course let me know what you guys think. And you will see here on the front of the build, I wanted to have sort of two-story pillars. Unfortunately, we don't have those in game. I could have probably created them with walls, creating like little squares out of them, but I decided to just double up the pillars, and it looks okay. I mean, it's a little bit weird because of where they meet. You can tell that they are two separate pillars, but you know, it looks okay. Hopefully we will get two-story height ones eventually, because I think that would be really useful in a lot of different types of builds, especially ones like this one, of course, or colonial homes. Yeah, I just think it would be really nice, so we will see what comes in the future. But here I am going to mirror the front of the building to the back. I felt like that kind of made the most sense for the type of building that I wanted to build. And I was thinking about a real city hall that I've seen in real life. And it was in this old town that I used to live in, and it was really cool. It was this really beautiful city hall building, and it was mirrored on the front and the back and then both sides. So I felt like that kind of worked for this one too, and it was surrounded by like these fountains and this park. It was so pretty. If this lot would have been bigger, I would have probably tried to put some fountains, but there's already this park area in front of it with some picnic tables and I think some barbecues. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it kind of has a park area in front of it, so I thought that was kind of nice. And then the colors of this building are the same colors as the library that was here originally, so I thought that was kind of cool too. And then on both sides of this building I was kind of struggling, so I have roofs right now, and I wasn't really sure if I liked the way the roofs looked. I felt like it looked kind of weird, and so I tried making it two-story on both sides, but what I ended up doing is putting two balconies, and I wasn't really sure what I should put on both of those balconies. I thought about doing like a seating area, but then I didn't think that really made a whole lot of sense, but I wanted the places to be useful, so I decided to do some chess tables. So I thought that was kind of nice. And then here in the center of the roof, I do create this sort of square roof piece with a flat top and then a fence, and I think that looks kind of nice. I was thinking about adding some like dormer windows. We got those ones that came with Get Famous, I am pretty sure, but I haven't used them yet in a build, so I definitely want to use them at some point. I probably could have made them work on this build, but I don't know, I decided not to mess with it too much, and yeah, just decided not to use them. But here I'm going back to putting these rooms on the side, and then I put the balconies, and I think this is kind of the final look of the whole build. I do put the chimneys back on the roof though. There ends up being no fireplace on the interior, so the chimneys are just for looks, but I still really like the way they look on the roofs. And then here I am just paving around the entire build. The exterior sort of like landscaping and decorations are very simple, but I really like the way they look. I just put a few Joshua trees, I do pathways and concrete around the entire build, and then I also use these signs that came with Get to Work. They're for the police officer career, and I put them on each of the corners, and I really like the way they look. And then I fenced in these Joshua trees, and I thought that looked really nice, just with a little bit of grass. And yeah, I just really like the way that looks because it's nice and simple, but I feel like it blends into the surroundings. I also add a few trash cans off camera because I realized when I went to go save this lot that I hadn't added everything that was required for the lot type. So I needed some trash cans, and then also I needed some desks. On the second floor of this building there are some computers, but I use the regular tables because kind of the way I did the layout and the decorations, tables worked better than desks. So what I did, I just added a couple of desks and I sized them down and I hid them in some tables. So I don't think that'll cause any problems. I did playtest this build and everything seemed to work like just as it should. Yeah, so that's what I decided to do, kind of to work around the lot requirements, but everything seemed to work fine. And then here on these porches, I do put a few decorations. I put a couple of benches and then these barrels full of flowers I thought were so pretty. Those came with cats and dogs, and I really liked those items, and I thought they kind of suited the Western style since they're barrels and stuff, and they added a little bit of color to the exterior, which I thought was nice. And then here I am moving on into the interior. So I knew I wanted to have some sort of a like desk where a secretary worked, or whoever runs this library, well, I guess the librarian, but in my mind it's a city hall, so I guess a secretary. So I put this desk here. This one came with Get to Work too, and I believe it's also for the police officer career. I think there's a badge on the front of it. And then I also put a computer on the desk too, and something I like to do when doing community lots like this, I don't want the Sims to use the computer who are just like random visitors. And so what I did, I used this chair and I just put it cockeyed in front of the computer so the Sims can't actually reach the computer. So if you want them to be able to use it, you'll have to make the chair snap to the desk. Hopefully that makes sense, but you will see me do it here in just a moment. And then other than that, I of course put a few decorations on the counter. We have some really nice decorations that I thought suited this build. Oh, but here I am placing that chair, so I just put another one right here and just sort of turn it so it's not actually snapped to the desk. And I think that works pretty nicely. And then over here is going to be where the bathrooms are. So on each of these little wings there is a bathroom. There's 4 of them total. I'll only show you guys 2 of them because they are identical. I just kind of mirrored the other bathrooms on the other side. And then there I just switched out the wallpaper to be this one. This one came with the patch where we got the Caribbean stuff, and this is one of the plain swatches, and I really like this one in here, so I thought it worked perfect. But here I am decorating the bathrooms, just picking out some paper towel dispensers, some soap dispensers. These bathrooms they're kind of simple, but I felt like that made the most sense for this type of community lot. I do put this side table here, and I thought that was a nice thing to have just in case they wanted to store some bathroom supplies, is kind of what I was thinking. And I do put a plant on top of it, and then other than that, I do hang up a painting, and then I think I put a light above the toilet and then some curtains and stuff. So yeah, they are kind of simple, but I actually really like these bathrooms. So hopefully you guys will like them too. But yeah, this is basically it for the bathrooms. And then I decorate this back area. I was thinking about mirroring the counter, but there really wasn't the space to do it because of where I put the staircase and stuff. And so what I ended up doing is I actually put a statue back there, and we have this statue in game of this guy with like a shovel and stuff, and I was thinking maybe that was the founder of Strangerville. So you will see me place that in just a little while, but here I am placing some chairs in the front, and I really like the way that looks. I was going to put some bookcases down here. I think I only end up leaving one down here because this is supposed to be just like an entryway and hallway, and then the upstairs is where all of the books are. But yeah, I was originally going to have a table here, so you will see me try to find some like decorations and stuff to put on it. But this is the statue that I was talking about, and this one, I think I used it when I built the park in San Myshuno. And for that build, I mentioned how I was thinking it kind of reminded me of Jebediah Springfield. If you guys are familiar with that show, The Simpsons, there's a statue in part of the town that's supposed to be the founder, and that's kind of what this statue reminds me of, so I really like using it. And I decided just to leave it by itself, and I put this one plaque next to it and kind of figured it said a few things about him or something, so I thought that was kind of nice and a simple way to decorate that part of the build because I really wasn't sure what I should put in there, and it really wasn't going to be a useful area. So that's what I ended up doing. And then decorating the corners in this room were kind of difficult. You will see me kind of place random things around. What I end up doing here in the front though is adding these pictures. We have these paintings or drawings, I think they might be, from base game, but they look like architectural sketches, and I thought maybe they were the plans of this building, or maybe an old building that used to be here, or I don't know, some other building in Strangerville, but I really liked adding those. But here I am adding these lights because I wanted it to be a lot darker in here, and I think I actually end up switching them out for a different one later on, but still kept it pretty dark. But there's lots of like lamps around, so I really like it. I think you can still see enough in here, but it kind of has that dark sort of mysterious look to it that I think works nicely for Strangerville. And then here on the upstairs, what I end up doing is having bookcases, of course. There's computers because this is definitely the library part or the archives. And I put this wall around the staircase, and then I put the bookcases around them. And I thought that worked really nicely because it didn't take up a whole lot of space, because this whole building wasn't as big, I think, as it looks from the exterior. So yeah, it was kind of a nice way to save some space. But there I'm just adding some of those chest tables on the balconies and then switching out the lights. I think I was going to add just some wall lights, but I do add some base game chandeliers that you will see me place in a moment. These ones, I do like those ones, but they were too bright for the look that I was going for. So I go with these ones, and I really do like the way they look. And then here I'm just picking out some more artwork because I felt like the walls were just a little bit bland. And then here I am trying to pick out some tables or desks to put the computers on. I wanted to save as much space as I possibly could, so I was trying to push 2 of these desks together. And I thought this looked okay, but it didn't really look exactly the way I wanted it to, because it was kind of an awkward place, I think, to put some computer desks. So what I ended up doing is putting a few chairs around so your Sims can sit and read, and there's a few tables so they can sit and do homework or, I don't know, write notes down if they're investigating the story with Strangerville or something like that. And then I put some tables in the center with some computers on top of them, and I think it ends up looking really nice. But here I'm just placing some of those chairs. They're the same ones that I used downstairs, and I just put a table in between them with a lamp on it. I kept it quite simple. And then I have these stools that I think came with Jungle Adventure. I think they did. But yeah, I placed them next to the bookcases because I felt like they kind of looked like stepping stools, so your Sims could get to the top shelves, or you know, the librarian could step on top of it to put books away or something. Even though they won't actually do that, I still like the idea of it. But here I'm just placing some more chairs on this side of the wall, and then I also put some more tables and chairs on the other wall, so it kind of mirrors itself, but I really like the way that looks. And then here I'm placing the same chandeliers up here as I did downstairs, and then here I'm picking out some tables to put the computers. I thought about using these smaller tables, but I decided to use the bigger ones that match these smaller ones, and I think they look really good. But unfortunately, the computers actually take up quite a bit of the table space, so I was only able to fit 4 total. But I still think it looks okay, and everything seemed to work just as it should. Sims could sit at the chairs where there was no computer and still use them and sit there and read and everything. So I think everything should work just fine. But here I am cluttering up these bookshelves. The empty spaces, I just fill them with some boxes and some books, and I think like a plant and maybe some other decorations, but I really like the way that looks. And I also placed a few sort of random clutter items around, like some pieces of mail and stuff. I was going to go like really detailed with the clutter objects, but I felt like if I was to add like a bunch of things from the debug menu, like notepads and pens and stuff, it might make a few of the tables unusable, so I decided just to leave it a little bit simpler. But here I am decorating the back counter, so I have a fan back here, I have a coffee pot, and some boxes and other things. I also placed that vacuum that we got with cats and dogs, so I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, we are already almost done with this build, and I just placed the final few decorations, and then we are on to the screenshot. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and hopefully you guys do enjoy the screenshots. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
Putting our life in boxes, erasing the memories so you won't notice. I'm taking the time to focus. You're by yourself, I'm by myself. Wish I could solve your problems. They're stuck on my wall like neon paintings, and I'm so tired of being honest to everyone by myself. I do it so well. We were so good at flying, but we can't keep flying. We keep getting stuck on the wrong side of the mountain. We were so good at trying, but we can't keep trying, 'cause we only end up on the wrong side of the mountain. We gave it so many chances. When we saw the signs, we just kept dancing, and the nights always seemed so endless. Thought it would